Haritomat, we're back. We have the chairman of the Rouch Foundation Society Center, and we've been talking about issues of the day, which is our topic. And basically, we started out with how we look, how Rouch foresees the future, how it can correct it, what they're doing about it, and where we are in the Philippines, how that all relates to us. We went into a commentary as to whether the illegal settlers really have rights or not, especially when it comes to suffrage. We discussed these issues, and we're going to continue, but we're going to span out just a little bit more. Butch, before we took off and during the break we were talking, your assessment of the situation of the day, economically, socioeconomically, has gone from bad to worse.
Yes.
In the last 3 years, very quickly.
Yes.
Why is this? How is this? This is because of poor governance. And yet we have a president who has not been involved in any scandal. He seems to be rather straight, rather than our past president who was involved in a lot of, or many controversies or anomalies. Now, ito ang problema ngayon. Your assessment of where we are today is getting worse. Why? Because government is too close to private business?
Well,
to the taipans?
That's their policy. No, all you have to do is you just look at these conditions of our population. No? There is the level of poverty is historically on the highest. No? Now, no jobs. No jobs are really being created. People are being shooed away from this country, sent over to, allowed to go to Hong Kong and ever to look for jobs.
OFWs, yes.
They don't even have jobs. OFW means you have a job here, you have a job, then you go there, which the POEA, the Job Recruitment Center of
government,
is able to bring them. But, you know, many of our Filipinos go abroad, borrow money, go abroad, and when they're there, start looking for jobs.
Wala pang trabaho, maalis na.
Oo. Naghahanap pa doon. At you just check and interview some of these people coming back from Hong Kong or Macau.
Wala nahanap.
Anong ginagawa niyo? Ang tagal po namin dito, araw-araw po kami naghahanap ng trabaho. Pumunta kayo dito, wala pa kayong trabaho. Wala naman tayong mahanap sa Manila. No? Anong trabaho yun? Maski ano po, maski tigalinis na lang po ng kubeta, no? Gagawin nila. And these are the conditions that we're in. No? And more and more also, you can also see the effect on the social aspect of life. There's more and more chaos, incompetence, inability of government
to provide. But the president boasts of so much growth and improvement. He even cited the, let's see, the dwindling stock market, which is now no more. It's falling apart. But he keeps saying that he has done exceptionally well, and we're going to hear him again in about 3 weeks.
Yes.
Let's see if we're going to hear more of the same.
What's funny about this government, sometimes it contradicts itself without batting an eyelash. It doesn't even bother them. One time, of course, at one point, the SWS comes out saying that the level of hunger has gone up again, right? Hunger of families, something like 4 million families. That translates to about 25 million people. Hunger level. When you say hunger, that means different levels of starvation, right? So death follows that. And then 2 weeks after, the president comes up with the 7.8% GDP. And the question is, where was it, right? And that was the question. Now, soon after, NEDA comes up with an explanation of that 7.8.
Why there's no trickle-down effect.
What they're saying is that there was no growth in manufacturing, no growth in agriculture, no growth in services, but there was a booster of growth in the energy sector. Okay, what is the energy sector? The energy sector runs this way. You've got power generators, different power generators. Government has set up a company called PSAM, PSALM. What does this do? This PSAM buys up all the power that these generators can provide.
Used or otherwise, yes.
Used or otherwise, it buys it up, right? And what does it do? It bids it out to companies like Meralco and other distributors.
Spot market.
Spot market. So when it bids it out, what does that mean? It goes to the highest bidder, right? And the highest bidder gets so many megawatts for that month, right? And when you bid the highest, you as Meralco, where do you?
You bring up your rates because you have to pay the highest.
You charge the consumer.
Correct.
So the Philippines now, we pay the highest in cost.
Yeah.
And this system brings up the GDP growth rate, right?
Kasi lahat ng babayad eh.
Right.
Magastos lahat.
So what does it mean? That means 7.8% growth rate translates ultimately to more debt.
Poverty.
More debts of the Filipino. You see? You see? And we have to explain this to the people. And not many, even if they graduated from your school and my school, LaSalle, the greatest school, some of them, they don't understand what's going on, right? Because, and of course, in the other schools as well, no?
How would you rate the PPP program, the public-private partnership?
Oh, I don't know whether it has gotten on certain areas. I think they have been able to sell out some things, but just like our Angat Dam has already been privatized and so on and so forth. That's why I'm saying that this is a big hit on our population. Because when you sell out public utilities, because that's the only thing that sells in this country, public utility business, right? Energy, water.
Mining.
Well, mining is also very bad because mining should be used for our own industrialization, not for the industrialization of another country. And you've got, what else do you have? Transportation, power. You're selling this out. Why are they interested in this? Because you have a captive market, right? Now, so they sell this out to the private sector. What is the private sector interested in? The
profit.
People?
No.
It has to be the profit first. So what happens to us? We're going to have a cost of living probably the highest in the world very soon. And what happens? More and more people die off. Ultimately, therefore, what is the objective of this government? Kill off your population. Remember your poverty. Remember your squatters.
Oh, synonymous RHB.
Okay. So exactly, you kill off the people by starving them to death. No jobs, no food, and the remainder must be prevented from reproducing. That's why the RH bill. So there is logic to this insanity.
Why does he retain his political popularity? It's so easy for you to assess it.
Yeah.
You need not look for the words or be coherent in explaining how government is failing. Yeah. How can you account for the president's popularity? It's sustaining after 3 years. I don't need the surveys to tell me that he's not popular. Yeah. Because for one reason or other, this man, his political capital it's amazing.
Well, you just continue to dumb down the people. And the best way to dumb down the people is to make sure that you control the mainstream media.
So it's Channel 2 and 7 again.
I did say all of them. No, all of them. And not just them as institutions, but individuals in that institution, commentators. You are coming from Malacanang or the executive offices, right? Principal executive officers. How much can you budget to these commentators to sing the song that you want them to sing? It's very cheap. And
relatively,
then,
yes.
It really is very cheap compared to, relatively. And then what else do you do? Make sure that the people are given another kind of diversion, the kind of programs that you are showing. And then things to talk about, like you have a singer who's now a girl singer who has become a boy No? And all of a sudden, it fills up the media, right?
It's been sustaining like that
Right.
for a couple of years now.
And that's what you make them feel, and that's what you make them see. No? Not poverty. And then when there are people that are complaining about poverty, shut them off. Don't invite them to talk shows like yours. No? Don't let them talk. No? Don't let people hear them. No? Because the people might get educated. You see? You dumb them down, just like an animal. No?
But
When they're confused, they don't know what to do.
surely, for example, the head of Department of Education is a man of the cloth, di ba?
What
Semi-clergy. Si Armin
I
Luis,
know.
Lasal, di ba? Now, ano yan God-fearing yan, miski pa paano eh. He is a cabinet secretary, and he's part of mass education. Now, never mind the CHED, actually, which is even more important. But you have the basics coming from grade school going into high school. So, you're telling me there is a conspiracy with all the cabinet secretaries to keep the Filipino dumb? That's why it continues to be like this. This is how we
Well,
got our senators, for example.
Two things that I might be critical of present administration of the Department of Education, because I came from there, right?
That's right. That's right. No?
Now, first is on the RH bill. If you say he's a man of the cloth,
Yeah, I find that very difficult, actually. Hard
Right.
to swallow that part.
yeah, he's supposed to be a
He's been very-
Christian brother
He's been very quiet about that.
with vows, no,
Yes.
on all of these things. And no less than the Vatican had reiterated its
Yes,
position
yes.
on all of
Very
these
clear.
things. Okay,
Lumaban pa rin.
why has he been quiet about this? Why has he not stood up against this number one policy of this administration?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, number one.
Okay. The other is
Well, it's number two. Number one is to take Gloria down.
yeah.
And he almost failed, and he's still failing on that,
Yeah.
except he's incarcerated her illegally, but still. Number two is this.
Okay. The other one on the education is might be debatable, but this is what my take on it is this. He proposed and implemented a 12-year.
Yun,
Okay.
nahihirapan ako dun eh.
Okay.
Hindi nga kaya yung status ko,
Right.
hinabahan pa yung misery.
And to say that to make us competitive, whatever that competitive means. No, I was there. I was in education, and I went around asking, what is it that you mean by quality education? I said, no. I was asking our regional directors. And then they were saying, no, can anyone define for me what quality education is? Or in the same way, can anyone define for me what being competitive education means, right? Is it so that I can send my engineer to Singapore and compete with the local engineers there? Is that what we mean by competitive?
Yeah, it's
right?
incorrect. No, you're right.
Right, okay. So I said, if by quality education means we will produce more Jose Rizals, right? Then I would like that, right?
You'll embrace that.
I'll embrace it. But no, I said, today's time, I said, we are producing new heroes. And our new heroes, I said, are not Jose Rizal. The new heroes are our OFWs.
Correct.
Domestic helpers.
So we're dumbing them down still
So-
to become employees for other countries.
So let's
Okay,
say, so
okay.
what, therefore, we are producing people to become OFWs, right? If that is so, the majority of our OFWs are domestic helpers because that is what's needed.
Elsewhere outside the
Then why do we need a Department of Education?
Okay, binaliktad mo.
Right.
Let me go out on a limb here.
Now,
Somebody
this last
sige,
12,
sige.
the reason I am a bit worried about this 12, because if my arithmetic is right, it will come out that by the time it is 2016, when he is leaving and a new prodigy
Yes.
is going to become president, supported by government, the unemployment rate will be down. Why? because there will be less graduates at that time in 2016
May 2-year gap eh.
because of this.
Yeah, may gap nga. 1 year, matutulog maraming
Right.
university.
And so statistically, they'll be able to show that there is less unemployment.
So all of this is show rather than actual nation building is what you're saying. For this government.
It's a destruction of your country.
Let me take it to some other issues that are not really far-fetched. The elections are over. We have new candidates. We've got brother, sister. We have dynasties, not only in local government, in Congress, but worst of all, the Senate. Ano assessment mo after the election, 2 months after the election?
You remember when Noy Noy became president, and there were still immediately some criticism, and the reaction of Malacanang then was, give him time. Give him time to study the situation, and then he will come up with this program. This is what Noy Noy's people were saying,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And I was livid at this kind of answer, because you're running for president and you still don't know what to do, and you're still going to study, right?
Actually, I
Okay.
remember that from you. Yes,
Right.
okay. That was 2010.
And now here we are. We've got congressmen and senators. And what is the answer of some of them? I'm going to UP to study governance after being elected.
Marami.
Right?
But the problem is
But-
binoto sila ng taong bayan eh.
Exactly. And what I'm trying to say is, ba't ka tumakbo? Hindi
Wala
mo
ka
pa
pang-
alam kung anong gagawin mo dyan.
Wala ka pang kompetensya.
Wala ka pang, ba't ka tumakbo?
Ah,
Wala ka pang programa, wala ka pang iniisip para sa taong bayan. Ano yung ginasabi mo sa kampanya? Nagsisinungaling ka lang ba doon? Tapos nagsayaw-sayaw ka sa entablado kasama ng artista?
pero yun ang
Boto ka
gusto
na.
ng taong bayan. Yan nga
Hindi,
po yung
because
problema.
they have been dumbed down.
Ah,
Because the media brings it up that way.
maybe we should go on the words dumb down and expound exactly so our viewers will understand. To make the people stupid, to make the public stupid, to make them to keep them where they are, so you can have a sustaining situation wherein the rich and the powerful will sustain and stay there, and the people that are dumb or don't know anything
Right.
because they're not being educated don't know anything better to ask.
And they've been told lies, right? Let me go to...
Do you believe Noy Noy is lying?
Oh, yes. It's lying every day. But
I like how candid you just come out and say that.
yeah,
It's very good. Butch.
you can tell. You can tell when somebody's lying. When you see a liar too often, and you know the truth, no? And you know that they know the truth, but so you can see it in their face, and you can see it by their behavior, and exactly what comes out. But and when you say something and do another thing, then you know you're somebody's lying. Now, on your question, so what dumb down really means, let me go to a certain philosopher. His name is Bertrand Russell, right? This Bertrand Russell is a very, very evil man. No? But many people, we even have a Bertrand Russell Foundation here, right? But this guy once said in his treatise that he had prepared, he said, if you are to control a society, you must be able to control that society using these different means. He says, one is by the press, no, which is the media as we know it, no? And then the other is through the by religion. No?
Ah, okay.
Okay, you come up with
The opium of the
religion,
masses.
yeah, and then come up with the sect and this and that, and then you can fool around with that, and mislead people. And then the other, he says, is in education. In education, you must be able to get your subjects at a especially tender age of possibly 10 years or below, and start telling them that snow is black.
Yeah, I agree.
Is
It will work.
Huh?
It will work.
And then, since all of these little children know that snow is black, when somebody says, no, I can see it's white, no, that somebody will be ostracized.
Correct. It's the other way around.
Hmm.
Conditioning.
Yeah, conditioning.
Conditioning.
And then eventually, snow is luck, right? And this kind of thinking, this kind of thinking permeated through leaders today, no? And leaders before.
That's dumb downing. I agree. Nicely, well presented. We have the sauna coming up. What are you expecting that will happen again? More promises?
Oh yes, of course, and he will wave the banner of 7.8 growth rate and so on and so forth, and claim that so many people are interested in coming into the country.
So more promises, empty promises.
Yeah, nothing. No. And then promises about jobs and so on and so forth. It all depends how these manipulators can use these words. But as I always say, even in my radio program, I say, don't listen to his words. Look at his actions because they speak louder.
I don't like to watch him too often because I realize,
Know what I
one,
mean?
he talks a little too fast to mean what he's saying a lot of times.
Well, it's fast like that. That was apparently someone was telling me that is one of the symptoms of a psychological problem.
Yeah.
But we're not experts on that area. We're just
I just find that when a person talks too fast with so much content inside it, there is a lack of comprehension of what exactly the person is trying to convey. So thereby it's false, or there is no comprehension of what the person is saying.
You listen to people, other people, not this president, of course, no? But you listen to other people that are stricken with autism.
Ganun din eh. Okay, we are at the top of the hour and we're going to have to end the show. Solutions, just quick solutions. There has to be a solution out to the doldrums. Hindi naman pwede that there isn't, because you and I have children, and as much as we have had the better part of our lives and our age grouping, we have failed to correct the system and the society. How can we improve the future? I know LaRouche says all of these predictions not because it's a doomsayer, but because it's trying to tell us where we are going wrong. The problem is tradition and the academe that has promoted the wrong strategies where the world finance and economy has been going. They've been using the wrong theories. And this goes back to even the way you handle the basket of currencies, I remember. You have to understand. But before you even answer that, tell our viewers, the radio show is on 810 AM, correct?
No, the radio is in RMN.
RMN,
DZXL.
Radio Mindanao Network.
Right, 558
558
kilohertz.
kilohertz.
Every
AM.
Sunday. Every
Linggo,
Sunday.
yes, every Sunday.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
7 to 9. So
2 hours every Sunday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And
Right,
then
right. You were in AM before, RJ before. You
Right.
moved to RMN. You're still doing RJ in Dina.
Indina.
Straight RMN.
They asked me, but no more time because we're moving on this Save the Nation movement. We have a movement which we organized.
Okay, solutions, quick solution
Yeah.
before we end the program.
We've always advocated 3 urgent steps to save the nation. No? And they are in principle. No, we feel the only way we're going to get out of this, and it will push the people into thinking along these lines and convince the people that there is a government that is willing to save their lives. So what are these 3? Number 1, government must embark in a massive science-driven, infrastructure-based food production
Food
program
production,
to
self-sufficiency.
double, triple, or even
Yes.
quadruple the amount of food that we
Food
produce,
sufficiency.
right? And because this is the answer to hyperinflation.
Yes.
The more food, of course,
don't matter, yes.
the price. Number 2, we must start the Bataan nuclear power plant right away.
So improve energy.
Not just improve, we must be self-sufficient also and proceed to it that we have indigenous energy.
Yes.
Because we are completely dependent on imported oil, which we know is going just
Going
up. Now, if we have this, we will sustain our economy and move forward. Number 3, we must declare a moratorium on foreign debt payments. We're paying $12 billion a year, which cannot afford. And this $12 billion is payment of a debt which we didn't receive
I remember.
and we didn't benefit from. Okay.
30 years ago.
This was caused by allowing the devaluation of our currencies periodically and continuously over the years, right? Now, these three is not going to be an overnight thing. But once it is articulated and explained to the people that we are going to embark in these three main programs, a program of these three main steps, the other corollary programs will fit in, right? And immediately, even the dumbest of the dumb will understand,
Will wake up.
that you are trying to save their lives, and the people will be behind you.
Okay. We're already over time. Butch, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the program. We're not here to entertain you, and we're not here necessarily to try and irritate you as well. We don't want to dumb down, which is a right term. I'm going to start using this word that Butch brought up. Dumb down you or the people. But what we need to do is actually have a bit of critical thought and to start thinking for ourselves so you can be part of the solution and not the problem that sits there and watches TV and before you know it asking for more Coca-Cola and popcorn and getting worse. So ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to improve yourself. I invite you to be nation builders. We'll ask Butch again, Butch Valdez, if he's free to come back, if not next week, the week after, and let's I find this Rouch movement even more interesting. Maybe we can expound on this.
Yes,
Which in
of
about
course.
2 weeks' time, on the 15th of
Yes.
July.
My
Ladies
privilege.
and gentlemen, maraming salamat po. Have a good show.